Well, thank you all for being here on what is both a somber and rejoiceful day, and I'll explain that as the meaning when I get to it. But before we get started, if I could have everybody rise, and we'll do a quick Pledge of Allegiance. I know we just did one, but we'll do another one. So right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So here we are, a little over a year later, and we're sitting in a station that I would say probably a lot of us that have been in the department for a while never thought would happen. And it's incredible where we are. And to think back, a little over a year ago, we broke ground, and within, I would say, days, if the most a week, a station that had stood here for 6 decades was probably gone in 6 minutes. I drove down when they were demolishing it, and I couldn't believe how fast that station came down. But that being said, I come up Garfield when I go to work, and I go home on Garfield when I leave from work. And every day, I would see something new that was taking place. And of course, the first part was, foundations and stuff that you really didn't get a good idea, but then the first steel members went up, and then you start to get an idea of what this station's going to look like. And it was always, probably one of the better parts of my day was driving by and seeing how much progress had been made. And to go back to the beginning, my mom has a saying that all things happen for a reason, and I believe that. And the reason I say that today is that when this project started, we had a different company that bid and was awarded the project for the contract for this project. And through different variations, we ended up separating from that company, reopening the bid, and we ended up with RC Construction, who is the contractor that has put this magnificent building together to date. And the reason I say all things happen for a reason, because the partnership with RC Construction has been fantastic. Given COVID, given the experiences and delays that we're having now with materials, and it's across the United States, if not the world, we've had some obstacles to overcome. So while we're here on this day to cut the ribbon and open the station, we're still a few weeks away, as you can tell, to no fault of anybody's, but the circumstances of COVID. And so today's meeting, when we sat down and discussed this ribbon cutting 2 months ago, we wanted to have it on this day, September 11th. And the reason being is, and what was referenced in multiple speeches today, was that America can't be kept down. The fire service can't be kept down. And I think this is a perfect example of that while this morning was a reflection on what happened on that day, this event shows that we're moving forward, that we won't be kept down. And to have a beautiful station dedicated on September 11th, 20 years later, to me was very symbolic. And that's why we chose this date. So with that, I would like to introduce our council members who have made this project possible. And like I said, it's been in the works for years and years. However, it was the 5 of you at the helm of our council that pushed it through in partnership with city staff to get us to where we are today, which was sitting on an app floor, much bigger than what we used to have, and a 2-story station that we never thought we would have. So thank you all for what you have done to get us to this point today. So with that, I would like to introduce Mayor Yvonne Yu, if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Hi everyone, this is Yvonne Yu, Mayor of Monterey Park. It was about a year ago that I'm here to have the groundbreaking ceremony, and I cannot believe just after a year there's a brand new building. And the reason why we expand the fire station is because we wanted to house more robust equipment, but also we want to have facilities that cater female firefighters. So that makes me excited. And I hope to see more female firefighters joining our big family. And thank you everyone for your contributions to the project. Thank you so much.
Mayor Pro Tem Henry Lowe.
Thank you, Chief Halleck. And let me just say how it is so incredibly pleasing, gratifying to be here today. Because as I said a year ago when we had the groundbreaking, that this fire station refurbishment, it represents a commitment and investment by our community, and an appreciation, a thank you to our fire personnel who every day, 7 days a week, is standing ready to protect our families. And as Chief Halleck says, it's poignant on this day, 9/11, that we get to have today's observance of the sacrifices and the valor of those first responders in 9/11. And I think it's very fitting that we also are able to dedicate this building, as I said, that it is a symbol of our gratitude for the work that all of you do. And we hope that it will be a sign of our continued support of our fire department and its personnel. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Fred Sernosa.
So hi everybody. So thank you for coming out for this is our baby. The five of us, this is our first project, I think, that's been accomplished since the five of us took office, and for the three of us that are new, this is our first child, right? I mean, we go to the council meetings and we vote for all these different things, but we don't really see the fruit of that. So this is a really awesome experience to come and see this. And I live close by, just down the street, and I pass by all the time as I go to my parents' house. They live up in the northeast part of the city, so I pass by quite often and see the progress here, and every once in a while I'll stop by. Had a couple of tours with Matt and Ron to see the progress of the place, so it's really a nice place. I'm sure you guys are all proud of it, and just want to thank the contractors for their willpower and for the maximum effort everyone put into this. Look forward to the date that it's completed so I could actually slide down the pole. I don't see the pole, Ron. Matt, no pole? We got to get a pole. I got to see Yvonne slide down the pole. So anyway, so thank you all, and hope you all use this to serve our community well, and thank you all for your efforts. Thanks.
Okay, Councilmember Hans Leong.
Thank you, Chief Halleck. It's a pleasure to be here today. I think the sentiments by my colleagues really capture how I think we all feel today. I, along with Councilmember Chan, are the veteran council members, almost 9 years. And over those years, in terms of the fire department, we've seen a lot of progress and a lot of collaboration. We have a Class 1 fire department. We now have a new fire station. And it's funny, I was talking just to different residents. Someone was mentioning, a resident of San Gabriel was mentioning that, he's frustrated that their city can't grow the way that Monterey Park and Alhambra have been growing. I have a friend of mine, a longtime friend, who just moved into Monterey Park and was, calling me or sending me texts saying, in big exclamation points, what's up with that new fire station? That's an awesome fire station. So at the end of the day, our residents deserve it, and our Class 1 firefighters deserve it as well. So thank you all, and thank you everyone who was involved in putting this together. Thank you.
Councilmember Chan.
Thank you, Chief Halleck, for your leadership, and all the firefighters for doing this beautiful building. And as Councilmember Hans Leong mentioned a little bit ago, that during the previous council, when we started this project, there was some, different opinions. And we have to purchase the house at the back and close the alleys. And of course, there's some different opinions. I just want to say that. But when this is done, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy because we have a new state-of-the-art and save lives and prevent fires. And those are the most important thing. That shows the fire department, the city hall, city council, working with the residents and make good things happen. And that's the most important thing. And my in-laws is just 1 block away. And I've been asking them, you know, do you like a new fire station? They say, lovely. They like it so much. But do you hear the sirens, you know, in the middle of the night? Does it affect your sleeping and that kind of things? They say, no, we have no issue with that because they're coming out for us. That's what it is. And the most important thing is we get it done. And this old building was built in 1948 and it's outdated many years ago. And so the city has been talking about remodeling this station and move to someplace else, but it didn't work out. But finally, this is happening today, and we mark the day, a new era, a new fire station, and it's good for the firefighters and good for the residents. So thank you, Chief, and thank you, City Manager, City staff, doing all this for all of us. So thank you, and enjoy the good building. Thank you.
Thank you. And so since we are the lucky recipients, fire department, of this brand new building, it took a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen, and we're the beneficiaries of it. However, I can't tell you how many emails I would see week after week from Director of Public Works Frank Lopez and the contractors and the architects, making sure we were on time, making sure everything was going as planned. So I'd like to invite Director of Public Works Frank Lopez to come up and say a few words and express my appreciation and thanks for the work of him and Ulysses, which I'm sure he'll talk about, and the efforts for this station.
Thanks, Chief Halleck. Just a couple words. When I first got here, I was just tasked with completing projects that had been around for a little bit, and it's been my goal to do that. We brought in some people to our department, and Chief mentioned Ulysses Benaventis, the project manager for this station. Couldn't have done it without him. I know he's tough on the contractor, but we also have a good relationship with them. As Chief said earlier, we were very lucky that things happened as they did. At first, it seemed like it might have been, something you didn't want to happen. You have to separate with a contractor. But we've actually been so lucky that RC came on. It's been a true partnership. And, credit to our project manager again, Ulysses. We've coordinated with our water division, who's done some of the work in connecting on fire services and domestic services outside. And then obviously the firefighters who've had to move in and out of different places and into a smaller unit in the meantime, which is the house behind the alley there. And so we appreciate all that help and coordination. We've been working with not just Chief Halleck, but Chief Weddle in coordinating the alerting system. And so we're just happy to see this. It's coming. It's about 4 or 5 weeks away to completion, and the guys will be able to move in right after that. So can't wait for that date. But for today, you guys will get to see pretty much. You're going to see what this looks like. We'll give you a tour in just a bit. Thank you so much.
And finally, for anybody who's ever been through a remodel at your home, I have, you have that initial meeting, and then, everything's great, it's gonna be the greatest thing ever, and then as things progress, it gets a little dicey sometimes, and this project was no different, but with the exception of RC Construction has been nothing but responsive to our requests. And to give you an example, we had this date in mind, and of course with material changes and delays, we're not quite ready to open. However, I did a site visit on Wednesday, and we had expressed to RC what we wanted to do, which was have this date, and we wanted to have this cleaned out and as much done as possible. And between Wednesday and today, you would not believe the efforts that RC has put forth to make this app floor clean. Upstairs, cabinets weren't in. The front of here, the concrete was not poured. I think the list goes on and on to what they accomplished for us by our request for today, and that goes for the entire project, the request we made. So as we went through this project, we met. There was constant communication weekly from RC, from our architect, and it's made this project one that we can all be proud of and enjoy, and not look back and say, oh, that was a nightmare. We did it in a little over a year. I think that's unheard of given the circumstances. And so with that, I would like to have Ryan Johnson, who's here representing RC Construction, to come up, because he's sort of been the go-to for us, and I think he'd like to say a few words.
I'd just like to say thank you to the city, Chief Hollick, Ulysses, Frank. It's been an honor for us to be able to provide this facility to the fire department in the city. You know, you guys are the ones that are out serving the community, and for us to be able to serve you is really a true honor. You know, and they were saying everybody has a plan till they get punched in the nose, and well, COVID was that punch in the nose, and it's had a few delays and a few hiccups here and there, but you know, working with Ulysses and Frank and Chief, you know, we worked through some of those delays. We're pushing to get it done, and it's a real honor to be a part of something that should hopefully be here another 73 years to serve this community, and we're just very honored and happy to be a part of that. Thank you.
Alrighty, so right before we get to the ribbon cutting, I do want to, I'm sure Kelly Needham, is he here? Our architect? He had, no? Not Kelly Needham, no? Okay. So I want to obviously thank our city staff and everybody who's been a part of it, but as was mentioned, you know, when this project started, we had to leave this station. And where were we going to live? Where were we going to respond from? And so leading up to construction starting, we were looking at all sorts of locations. We looked at moving into the gym across the street. We actually looked at and went through the Boy Scout hut behind the park. Elder, and thought about how we're going to remodel this, and could we pay to have it remodeled so we could live there and respond from there. I mean, we had all sorts of options on the table, and then what looked like would fit best was we move into the house that was built, and that was the intention, was build the house first, and then we'll move in there. And so with that, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude and appreciation to our fire staff, because we've been pushed around a little bit, and you know, when you enter this job, you go through school to be, you know, to go to the academy, and one of the things they always say is, you know, you have to learn to live with people. You're in tight quarters. You're 24 hours a day, 48 hours a day working there. It's your family, your second family. And when you take a look inside that house, you know, it's not exactly the biggest living quarters, and so it's been a challenge. And you know, we've had to put apparatus across the city to ensure that our coverage remained the same. And so I want to say thank you to all of you for that flexibility. I always said the end game is where we are today, a new station. So thank you all for your flexibility and your patience as we went through this project, all of us together. So thank you. With that, I would like to invite all of our council members up, and Mayor Yu, please grab the honorary sword, and because you will do the honors of dedicating this station by a ribbon cutting. And she's not going to get you. She's not going to stab you. Ceremony, and you're all encouraged to take a tour. We're here for you. The house is open if you want to see what it looks like inside there. I promise you we cleaned it up, and please, I'm here to guide you around, answer any questions you have. So thank you all for being here today on this very joyous afternoon session. Thank you.